see other folks talking about things they want for a potential Xenoverse 3. So I figured, what the hiffle? Let me throw my hat into this one. I'm not going to make like a list, just going to cover different points and topics I think would work for a next game. Disclaimer, keep in mind, I have no idea how hard it is to make a video game, so I understand some of this might be a really big ask and kind of not possible. Anyway, let us start. So let's start simple. Not Xenoverse 3. And by that, I mean don't make its storyline connected to the other two Xenoverse games. The first two games wrap up their stories pretty neatly. I can see Few possibly taking over as main antagonist, but he doesn't come off malicious enough to threaten the timeline the way Toa or Demigra did. I also feel the upcoming DLC may wrap up his story with a nice bow. We already have two major time patroller heroes. Entering a third hero may make things a little too crowded. Now, they could make the third game far enough into the future, we can assume that the other two are dead, but I'm pretty sure Namekians, Majins, and Frost Demons live a pretty long fucking time. This would also mean Trunks would be dead, meaning we would lose a major character.
Everything is ready.
So make it take place in a similar setting, but not the same canon. I mean, heroes in Xenoverse are the same, but not canon to each other, so it works. I also know this has been said to death, but leave Goku the fuck out of the final fight, or at least have him doing something else or fighting a different opponent. Him showing up at the end of Xenoverse 2 was not only disrespectful to our custom character, but it was disrespectful to Mira and his development. Let me explain. In the first game, Mira was just muscle. He was the brawn to Toa's brain. But in the second game, they tried to flesh him out more. He was trying to discover how Bardock, Goku, and more importantly, our Time Patroller, got so strong. He may not be the main antagonist, but he is our main rival. His final words, depending on what ending you get, is either, "I wish we could have fought more," or, "It was a good fight, I have no regrets." These words were for your character, not fucking Goku, and they lose so much value because he is there, and it pisses me off. So keeping in the spirit of story, let us broaden the focus beyond the events of Dragon Ball Z. It is highly likely we will get into more Dragon Ball Super events, but what about GT? Sure, it's not in canon, but Xenoverse has recognized its existence and treats it like an alternate reality, so we can do more with GT. More Shadow Dragon stuff. Definitely get into more shit with Baby. Like imagine having to fight other Time Patrollers being controlled by Baby. But more importantly, let's get some more original Dragon Ball stuff. Maybe not too much story beats, but let me use this as a segue into the next topic. That is the roster. Xenoverse has a huge roster, and my greedy ass wants more. More Dragon Ball characters. Like Kid Goku. Like actual Kid Goku, not GT. Kid Krillin. Fucking Master Roshi. Jackie Chun. Now, I can list all these characters. Everyone else is covered. But there is one Dragon Ball character I want to see that deserves a spot and no one else mentions. Adult Chi-Chi. You know, Piccolo Jr. Saga Chi-Chi. And just that Chi-Chi. Earlier Chi-Chi is I try to burn that from my memory. And after the Piccolo Saga, she becomes more of just a wife and a mother and really stops fighting. We will definitely get more characters from Dragon Ball Super, but I feel like I need to make a special shout out. They seem to love putting these two's fusion into the games, but not them. Khalifa and Kale, for fuck's sake! And let's get some more representative from GT, like older Goten. We are missing 4 Shadow Dragons, especially Rage Shenron, you know, the big zappy one. Oh my god, look, a segue! The Namekians have become giant. And with that in mind, I have only one thing to say. Make giant characters playable! And while we're at it, let's throw some more in there too. I already mentioned Rage Shenron. Then there's First Form Janemba, Dr. Wheelo, Big Getty Star Cooler. Oh, I'm not even going to attempt to say his name, but the big yellow guy from Wrath of Dragons. So no segue for this one, but let's jump right into everyone's favorite talking point, and that's custom characters. Before I get into the big topic of new races, I want to say is that they need to give us more customization. I personally don't like how stats are connected to body type and all that, but that's a debate for somewhere else and not here. Anyway, I should be able to make a Saiyan with Nappa's bulk or a human with Yajirobe's build. Skinny male booze, fat female. And while we're at it, some customization options to change the hair when a Saiyan goes Super Saiyan. And if I have a Saiyan with a mohawk, Super Saiyan 3 should have a motherfucking mohawk. Kind of a side note here, we should also be able to change the body shape of Frieza's race for different presets, since transforming is kind of Frieza's thing. Okay, now that that's done, let's...
What about Tails for Saiyan?
Shut up! I'll get to that later. Quick topic, fighting styles. Each race should have a set of different playstyles. A power style, speed style, a key style, power pole, sword, key blades. Just ways to mix it up a little. And finally, races. Start with androids. Man, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm surprised androids did not get added for Xenoverse 2. It seemed like everyone in the fan base was asking for them. But yeah, let's rectify this in the next game. If they only add one new race, androids should be it. I will also mention bio-androids, though personally I don't care for them. I know a lot of the fan base seem to want them. This next one is a bit hard to explain, but off-worlders. Use this as some generic race to cover all the aliens. You know, your Zarbons and Dodorias. Yeah, I know you could just make a human or a Saiyan and give them green or blue skin, but it's not the same. And an off-worlder race would also allow you to give them like pointy ears, spiky heads, details like that. The Kai and Demon races are also good ideas. I really don't have much to add on them, but I would really love to see them in. I know some folks talk about angels, but they have too many rules attached to them in the Dragon Ball universe, and I know Xenoverse can mess around with these rules, but I just don't think they would work. And finally, a race I have not seen anyone mention. Okay, in the universe where a dog is king of Earth, why is there no anthro-animal race? Like, I'm 100% not a furry. But the fact that there is no furry race is weird to me. So before we jump into the transformations, let me add one more detail to the topic of races. Sub-races. Now some classes it wouldn't really work for, but Earthlings for example, Triclops, like Tien, would work. The anthro-animal idea could also fit here because technically they're still Earthlings. You will never be perfect. If they add androids, you could have fully mechanical androids like 16 and 19, and then half organic ones like 17 and 18. Namekians, you could have Warrior Tribe and Dragon Tribe. And I know Dragon Tribe are weak and don't really fight, but Xenoverse can mess around with stuff like this, making the Warriors more strike-based and the Dragons more key-based. My last thought on the sub-races is for Saiyans. I understand, Saiyans get a lot of love in Xenoverse, but come on now, they are the main race of the series. So sub-races for Saiyan, you could have simply Full-Blooded Saiyan and Hybrid Saiyan, and the option of both to have a tail or not. Now I'm going to tiptoe into the transformations real quick revolving Saiyans, because I believe they should get 2 more transformations. Both of these transformations should be limited only to Saiyans with tails, and one of them should also be limited to just the full-blooded Saiyans. Balancing will most likely be an issue here. Again, I'm not a video game creator. But the Great Ape, Luzaro, whatever the hell it's called. But y'all can call the transformation Burst Open and Mix. You throw a fake moon in the air, boom, you're a giant monkey. So you shouldn't have to be a mind reader to realize that the next option is going to be Super Saiyan 4. And again, this one should only be accessed to not just Saiyans with tails, but full-blooded Saiyans as well. I don't know anything about the lore, and if hybrids can or cannot turn Super Saiyan 4, because Goku and Vegeta are the only 2 to ever have, but for the sake of balancing, it should be limited only to full-blooded. Well, here we are now. Transformations. Yes, they have to do something about Saiyans having the superior transformation pool, but to be honest, I have no idea how they would do that. I don't really want Ultra Instinct or God of Destruction mode for the custom characters, because I think they should stay unique to Goku and Vegeta, but it would give other races access to stronger transformations. On the topic of transformations that can be used by multiple races, Kaioken, Potential Unleashed, they should have other benefits to any non-Saiyan race to make them a little bit more valuable and even out the playing field. And assuming that they add androids as a playable race, I feel like they should be able to use Kaioken with no stamina drain, since androids are supposed to have an unlimited endurance. And in a similar vein, if they add a race like Offworlders, they should have a monster transformation similar to Zarbon. Oh, and speaking of Zarbon's transformation, more transformations for the actual in-universe characters. Zarbon was one example. The fact that Lord Slug, even in his custom version, cannot use Become Giant is weird to me. Then why is Nappa the only non-canon Super Saiyan to have the option to become one? Turtles, Pan, Raditz, they should have the option as well. Yamcha, Krillin, hell, even Videl should have the option to use Kaioken. I have one more thing, and it kind of falls into the category of both transformation and races. Metamorphs and Potara Fusion. God, I hope I said that right. This is a stretch and would be really hard to implement and balance. They would probably have to limit different races fusing together. But like imagine, in the character select screen, instead of just selecting a character, you get the option to fuse two together, either using Fusion Dance or the Potara earrings, with each option having different positives and negatives. When the quests or match starts, you get a little cutscene, and boom, auto-generated fusion character with moves and looks based off the two characters selected for the fusion. Yes, this sounds like it would be impossible to implement and not have it be unbalanced as fuck, but damn, it would be cool, because Dragon Ball fans love fusion. Yeah, that seems about it. Wait a second. That... Okay, look. Not exactly the dynamic finishes from Fighter Z, but man, that'd be cool, like, last hitting an opponent with, like, Spirit Bomb, and having the short cutscene of them trying to hold it back, but ultimately failing and being engulfed by it. Pulling out the Super Kamehameha and seeing an opponent disintegrate like the end of the Cell Saga. Special finishing animations for some of the Strike Ultimates. That would be fucking cool. But yeah, I guess, overall, I'm trying to say make the fights more cinematic, because that would be really fucking sweet. Oh yeah, and beam struggles!